I watched the Bradley and Ruslan Providkov fight. It was a close fight. Um, Bradley was coming off a controversial fight with Pacquiao, whereas most people thought he clearly lost. So he wanted to come out and make a statement by fighting Ruslan Providkov. Like I said, the fight was close. Um, if I'm correct, two judges had it 114, 113, or another judge had it 115, 112. I thought that 115, 112 was the right decision, but it should have been 114, 113 because in the first round, um, Bradley was knocked down, and if I'm correct, Pat Russell, the ref, called it a slip, and he should have ruled that a knockdown, which would have been 114, 113. My views of the fight, I really wasn't I wasn't impressed with Bradley. I wasn't. For him to say that he wanted to come out there and make a statement, he made a statement that he couldn't take a punch. The first round, Provodnikov hurt him numerous times, but he still stood on his feet. In the second round, Bradley was out on his feet, literally knocked out a few times on his feet. But Provodnikov, for whatever reason, one, didn't go to the body. Two, he emptied his gas tank in the second round, and Bradley was out on his feet. If he would have just shortened up his punches or went to the body and landed one more meaningful punch, Pat Russell would have stopped the fight. It doesn't happen. Rounds 3, Provodnikov does nothing. Rounds 3, round 4, round 5, he does nothing. Bradley wins those rounds easy because Provodnikov didn't do anything. Like I said, it just seems like he emptied his tank in the second round and he couldn't recover. Round 6, Bradley was doing more of the same, but Provodnikov again hurt him in the 6th round. So he was hurt again, and through 6, it was an even fight. So then you have round 7, 8, 9, 10. Provodnikov was not throwing punches, and Bradley was just trying to stick and move because he knew that Provodnikov could hurt him. In the 11th round, Provodnikov came on a little better, but he still didn't do enough to win the round, and Bradley was there to be knocked out. So in the 12th round, Provodnikov, I guess, threw the caution to the wind and threw the punches he had to, and Bradley got hurt again. Bradley did try to run in the 12th round. He didn't want to stand there and fight. And Bradley got hurt, and he got knocked down. And it just so happens it was unfortunate for Provodnikov that it came at the end of the round. Had there been another minute in that round, I think Bradley would have been stopped. I think he would have been. But it was a close fight. It should definitely be a rematch because the scores were close. 115, 112 was a fair decision, but it should have been 114, 113 because Pat Russell should have called that knockdown in round 1. So it should be a rematch. But all in all, I was not impressed with Bradley. I just wasn't. I wasn't impressed. For him to have the controversial decision over Pacquiao, and for him to say he was going to come out and make a statement, that just wasn't the way to do it. Don't get me wrong, it was a good fight and it made for good entertainment because Bradley was constantly hurt and Bradley was landing some good punches on Provodnikov, but his punches had no really effect on him. And Bradley was knocked down in the 12th and he was seriously hurt. And it just so happens the bell saved him. But I just wasn't impressed with Bradley. It's like Bradley has an unfortunate circumstance that it surrounds his career. Like a lot of his fights end controversial, so to speak. I remember there was one time he fought Nick Campbell and the fight was stopped because they said it was a clash of heads or whatever it was, a punch or whatever it was, and the fight was stopped, and at first it was called a TKO victory for Bradley, but then later it was changed to a no contest. Then you got the Pacquiao decision, which was highly controversial, and then now you got this. Like I said, the blown call in the first round, he blew the call, Pat Russell. So it's like Tim Bradley. It's like he has that cloud over his head that his fights are controversial and this and that and whatever have you. But Bradley was honest. He said he felt like he had a concussion. Provodnikov did land some hard, heavy shots on him. And if Provodnikov would have went to Bradley's body a little more and would have just, shortened up his punches a little more and didn't empty his tank in the second round, I think he would have knocked Bradley out. So this is why I say it should be a rematch. But Provodnikov should have won this fight. I only blame him because the fight was in the bag for him to win it. But he just emptied his tank in the second round, and it just seemed like he couldn't regain himself. And it took him many rounds, because I was just sitting there watching and screaming at the TV. Rounds 3, 4, and 5. He just wasn't throwing punches. He was following them around. 7, 8, 9, 10. Just standing around, not throwing punches because he was tired. He'd punched himself out. So, and Bradley, he's like, well, Bradley's saying to himself, well, if this guy's not going to throw punches, I'm going to throw punches. It's easy for me. So I think it was more so Provodnikov lost the fight more so than Bradley winning the fight. But I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed at all. I know some people will say, well, Bradley showed that he showed heart and showed that he could, he could fight on the circumstances. Yeah, but still, I just wasn't impressed. I wasn't. If he said he wanted to make a statement, he showed that he can't take a punch. That was the statement he showed. That punches, he was flopping all over the ring and whatever have you. And like I said, when Pat Russell blew that call in the first round, you never know what could have happened afterwards. If he had called it a knockdown and, and maybe would have knocked him down again. Who knows what would have happened, And so that's my views on that. Leave your comments. I respond to them all, but I do think there should be a rematch. Bradley shouldn't think about wanting to fight nobody else because it did have its moments, but I just wasn't impressed with Bradley. Leave your comments and I'll respond to them all. Until next time.